Spoilers and offensive content to come.
Our day of relaxation continues here on Carlos and Dave Anime Review, the best anime review and reaction show on the internet. It's just one of those lazy Saturdays that we're recording on, and very little could spoil my relaxation mood.
So, this show comes from a suggestion from our viewers. I was recently reading the comments on our Symphogear Season 4 Episode 1 and remainder of Season 1 of Symphogear video. And some people were giving suggestions for further Yuri videos. And your mood just totally 180. So we are going to watch the first episode of a show called Princess Principal. I know nothing about it.
I also know nothing about this show.
So somebody suggested in the comments, so we're going to give it a try.
Does this have a dub, or are we watching the Japanese language version?
This is a sub.
Not that I mind either way. I'm fine with either.
Mm-hmm.
Dave?
Yep.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you answer me precisely why this intro is so fucking jamming?
I do not know.
This intro makes me... I'm supposed to have a nice relaxing day, and this is firing up every chemical in my body that would excite me is being produced en masse just listening to this really, really, really upbeat intro.
When I was told the title of Princess Principal,
You thought it was something school related.
I thought it was going to be some princess in charge of the school as a principal.
Yeah,
not spies.
Knowing Japanese titles, you would be completely forgiven for thinking that. Instead, we're getting like
007 shit.
Yeah, with what would you even call this music? Like a jazz fusion type intro? It's really cool.
It is.
Like, we're 1 minute into this show, and I'm kind of in love with it. I also want to say something about Engrish in intros and in anime, because some people will listen to us lambast Fina English or the ID0 outro and think that we hate every single instance of it.
No!
I think it is totally okay for English in lyrics or even in dialogue to sound like it's not someone's first language. I think it's absolutely not okay for it to sound like it's someone's 7th or 8th language. That's the difference. Like, this intro, obviously they're not native English speakers, but the song is cool and they're doing well enough, right? Stuff like what's that stupid intro? Initial D?
Yeah.
That is a really cool intro with a lot of Engrish in it, but it is good. Like, it's super good and super like, pulse pounding, too, right?
Yeah, like, Fine English was awful. I mean, it wasn't a second or third language style English. And
that ID0 intro, the less said, the better. That was so bad it was funny. It was so bad.
The worst part about it was that any voice director doing that would never have used that.
Any competent one, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. It's not that it sounds like it's a person's second or third language. It's that it sounds like somebody who doesn't actually understand the language is repeating something from a Google Translate.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Just like it would be insulting for me to do that in Japanese as part of an official work.
It's like Mortal Kombat is super Asian influenced, but there's nobody speaking Japanese outside of some character names.
Yeah.
Some character names are in Japanese. No one's being pretentious and speaking Japanese. The American movie 47 Ronin, which takes place entirely in feudal Japan, is spoken entirely in English. They're not trying to say people were speaking English. They're just using the language that their actors are most familiar with. Mm-hmm. And that their writers are most familiar with, right?
Yeah, it's... Fine English was downright bad. I'm not going to say it was insulting. It was awful. They could have gotten somebody to do it for that voice actor, and it would have been much better. The even worse part was when they started to get the American president when he was talking back to her, and it sounded even worse.
It wasn't the American president. It was that one American agent.
Whatever.
That looked like a typical American military man, but spoke the worst English.
Yeah, I'm kind of reminded here of when Ghost in the Shell, the TV series, had the Americans on there for a second. They did they had actual English voice actors voicing those, and then had Japanese subtitles down.
I recall that those two guys had Japanese names.
No.
And we watched that show dubbed, so I'm not sure how we would have known they were speaking English. Because the dub isn't going to use the original English track. Like, if Symphogear ever does get a dub, all those bad lines Fine is speaking, if you had never watched in Japanese, you'd never know what Fine English is.
But what I'm saying is, those tracks in Japanese still had those people speaking in English voice acting with Japanese subtitles for that one scene.
And now, I never heard that scene in its original Japanese, so I'll have to take your word that it was done well. Because Fine English still had subtitles in Japanese, too, which arguably were sorely needed. God, I miss steampunk. Haven't seen a good steampunk thing for a while.
What was the last steampunk thing you saw?
There's like a PC RPG that was like, the subtitle was like, Of Steel and Magic Obscura. That was its subtitle. Its original title, I don't remember. It was like a PC RPG.
Interesting.
I think that was it.
Because steampunk isn't really done much anymore. It's too bad, because it's a very underused idea. Let's get Mythbusters on that bullshit right now.
Plausible.
That would be amusing. And they have found weirder things to be plausible. At least it didn't blow up.
I didn't realize they had Ludo on their team. They're just levitatoing the shit out of that enemy car.
Gravity Rush.
Wouldn't that be a weird place for Ludo to end up?
Actually, I was thinking more her powers are like Gravity Rush. Okay, so my thoughts were correct. It just took a while to get here.
Yeah, it's just not quite the first theme. It's that idea, but buried in steampunk spy shenanigans.
I approve. Okay, how hard could it be to get him over a wall with the ability to levitato yourself over?
We don't know if the people guarding the wall are not similarly powered or much more difficult to deal with.
Oh,
it's kind of like when Asterix and Obelix had to go to Rome, and Obelix wanted to fight the guards, and Asterix said, nah, even with the potion, fighting them all at once would be suicide. Because those guards don't fuck around.
I'm asking questions they're obviously going to show us, but yeah. How powerful must they be then? Or, anti-aircraft.
Yeah, there could be some other reason they can't. Notice, like, how unlike in ID0, they don't blast words, irritating words and dialogue into your ear to establish the world, that they just show you. They show you the soot, the smoke, the spinning thingamadoodads generating power. They show you the difference between the well-off academy and the poor areas. They show you the semi-Victorian age dress everyone's in. This show is a masterclass of world building. Jesus. Wow. That alone really makes me want to see more just by itself. The fact that I happen to like the characters and the overall plot is just gravy.
Yeah, no, it's just not even worth comparing the two. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, just this shot.
Just this shot here. You're going over a typical bridge with some pipes underneath, but above, some giant steampunk monstrosity of piping. This image is awesome.
This still by itself tells more of a story than some entire series. And this is what almost every shot in the show is. Like, I know more about this version of London in one shot than I get from some entire anime series, or non-anime series, to be quite frank.
This is awesome.
I want to play this level in a 2D platformer just to see the amazing... I want to play this level in a 3D FPS just to see the amazing work here.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I imagine we're going to get a little bit of from the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because...
At least in Midgar.
I mean, Midgar was a very steampunk-ish...
Midgar's more cyberpunk.
Still.
There are some parallels between steampunk and cyberpunk, and certainly there's something like, if you darken this up and make things a little more rounded, sterile metal, then yes, we're going to get Midgar, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, this is, or could you imagine a proper Final Fantasy VI?
I was about to say, a proper Final Fantasy VI reboot, this is Narsh.
Yes.
Like a bigger, like this is pre-World Destroyed Narsh, or in a Final Fantasy VI sequel, this is the rebuilt Narsh.
Yeah.
Although less polluted because of reborn Magitech.
Exactly.
Wow, Cavorite poisoning is frightening. Holy shit. Her voice is legitimately freaked me out, man. I'm so sorry. Irradiated mutant person.
Well, it's very much like the nuclear poisoning. Without the glowing eye thing.
Yeah, or the ability to still be alive after it.
A lot of people...
I realize radiation poisoning doesn't...
Different levels,
but even then a tiny amount, it's worth mentioning how Russian spies will poison people with a tiny, tiny amount of polonium and just watch them wither.
Yeah.
Are our cute little girl spies gonna disappear someone? Because he fucking sent off the message in the carrier pigeon, which clearly, I would imagine, has to be his location to try to get a deal for his sister, right? To betray these people who saved him. Are they going to just disappear him?
Well, I wouldn't disappear him. Because they could actually kill him right there and just make his body disappear. Much easier than taking him out somewhere. Why would you sortie your whole group just to off some lying scumbag?
I don't know, Angie seems like the type of person to me who'll disappear a problem.
No, this is probably, Plan B is probably to use him for their own benefit now. We are going to see so many backstabs happen in this show, I think.
I think this is going to be backstab central, especially with the conversation that Chase and the other girl were having. Wow, that was really good. Sometimes when these animes have very kind of aloof, expressionless main characters like Anji, it's just to hide the fact that there's nothing behind the character. Here, that's not what I get. I get that Anji is very complex, and that she has depth. Kind of a depth, a warped sense of justice and kindness. And I truly believe that in her mind, she did the right thing, right? It seems like we're getting plans within plans, and like you mentioned, so many betrayals are going to happen in this show, and the world building is masterclass, and the voice work is super top notch, and the visuals and music are just fantastic. Wow. Fuck. And we would not have realized this show even existed if it wasn't for, who commented? Was it Jared? Was it Jared Mathander?
It might have been.
Let me confirm that.
You know what's hilarious? We would have. This was on our spring anime to watch.
Nice. Yeah, Jared Mathander.
It just means that we got to it faster.
Yep. Yeah, it was Jared Mathander. He's been a long time commenter on our videos. Thank you for that one. Yeah, it was on our spring list of things to do. We still have to wrap up spring. Oh God, why?
No, sorry, that was on our summer.
That was on our summer list. Well, we can scratch this one off because we watched it and it's good. Thank you for the suggestion. Wow, what a good first episode.
Yeah.
I think I've said all the praise I want to say. I can't think of anything really wrong with anything either. Like, you see a bunch of girls in this role and you think, oh, they're going to fan service them up. They didn't.
Nope.
This show did what I wish more Magical Girls show did. Like, all the main characters and the squad are women, like young women, and they didn't need to be some kind of super special power of girls nonsense. No, it just, these are the best of the best, and they just happen to be all part of this girls' academy, right?
Yeah.
I really like that. This is super good. Dave, gush praise on shit. And any issues you might have had.
I have 0 issues. The dialogue for defecting was great, but there was the little signs that something was off. I mean, everything they did there was no just, well, that came out of left field. No, there were everything that they were talking about. Like, I noticed the marks on her feet, but I thought that was just from her being injured.
From the poisoning, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, the fact that they saw a letter that was from a ballet school, that sort of injury actually makes perfect sense for ballet, because you're always up on your using your toes on the very palm of your toes, or whatever the heck the
ball of your foot.
Ball of your foot. So that sort of injury makes sense. Everything they said fit within the episode. They gave us the clues. We just couldn't put it all together. So, no, what they did was great. I have no issues with what I saw at all. Even the fact that the title fits in with what might be our main character may not be. So I'm happy. This was a good first episode.
Absolutely. You know what else is good? Carl's Dave Animaries. Let me try that again. Carl's Dave Animaries, the best site review action on the internet. You can find it at animariev.xyz. And go there.
Tune in next time.
Bye.